Hi, welcome. This is the last art project of the school year that I have for you today. And for this project, I thought we could make our own sketchbooks. Whoa, there goes my paper. Kind of windy. Because one of the things that's really fun to do when you have more time in the summertime is just keeping a sketchbook. And then I thought, maybe you have a sketchbook, but maybe you don't. And even if you do, it's kind of fun to have your own very special sketchbook just for doing a certain time period of drawing or a certain project. You could also do writing in this book or a combination of writing and drawing. So what you need for this project is 10 sheets of Xerox paper. So I have 10 sheets right here in a little bundle, and I'm going to get them nicely lined up together just by doing that. And then you want to fold them in half the hamburger way, and you want to be kind of careful to line up the corners and the sides, then press down with a finger, and you'll have a nice stack of papers. Now, since we had 10 sheets and we folded it in half, we now have 20 pages here. The next thing we need to do is put some holes into these pages so that they'll be ready to put together into our book. So if you have a hole punch at home, that would be the easiest. If you don't have a hole punch at home, you might need some help from an adult with this part. But I'm going to take out 2 sheets, keep them folded in half, and I'm going to take a ruler and a pencil, and I'm going to come to the bottom fold and find the very center of my paper. Well, it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet that we folded in half. So half of 8.5, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 1/4 plus 1/4 is a half. So at 4 1/4, and I'll go up a little bit here and make a little dot. You don't have to be super precise, but 4 1/4. Then I'm gonna come, just keep my ruler right there on the edge and say, where's 3/4? 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and come up a little bit, the same amount, about 1/2 inch, and make a dot. And over here I'm going to count 3/4, 1, 2, 3/4, and make another dot. Those dots are where I want to punch my holes. I only have to measure them one time during the whole project. So I'm going to go right ahead, because after this, you'll be able to just make a mark from what we've already done to make the holes the same in all your pages. Okay, so now I've got some holes in there, and I'm going to take 2 more sheets of paper out. I'm going to put them inside the 2 with the holes, just like that. And now I can see where the holes were from my first set, and so I can just go inside my holes and put little dots in the center. Take them back out again. Make sure they're tight together. And then wherever you made those marks, go ahead and make some more punches, hole punches. And you continue to do that. I think 2 sheets at a time are good for a hole punch like this, because if you start getting 3 pieces of paper, it's going to get harder and harder to punch. But you want to go ahead and punch holes into all the sheets of paper until they're all done with holes in them like that. Okay, I guess I will go ahead and do it. I'm going to take 3 though, just to make it a little bit faster. So I put them inside the others, mark where I want to have some holes, and go ahead and take them out again. Gotta find the one you marked. And punch some more holes. did this the right way. I'm doing 3 to speed things up a little bit, and 3 is definitely harder to punch. So for you, maybe 2. You can take your time. Now, if you don't have a hole punch and you need a parent to help you, they could use like the end of a compass or maybe the point of a scissors to make holes in the paper. But that's a little bit more hard to do, and so you should get help with that. Okay, I'm on my last sheets. And again, I can just go through the ones I've already punched, mark off where I want holes. And this is actually the hardest part of the project, is just making these holes. Oh, I think I missed a sheet here somewhere. Yep, got them all. Okay, and we'll go ahead and punch the last holes. Now, if they don't line up exactly perfectly, it's okay. It might even make it, in the end, tie together a little bit better. So don't worry if the holes are slightly off. Okay, so now we've got holes in all 10 sheets, and you need a stapler. I like to stand up when I'm going to staple. So I'm going to put my staples, 2 of them, in between where the holes are, somewhere in between and near the edge. There's one. And there's the other. Okay, now that is pretty tight together. But just to make it so that it's all nicely bound at the end, I've got masking tape. If you don't have masking tape, maybe you have another kind of tape, like washi tape would be really cool on this because it would be designed. But if you don't have tape at all to use to go over this, and what I'm doing is putting my tape so it goes up to the top, over my staples, down to the bottom. I'm gonna rip it right there. And notice that there's some hanging over the side there. Fold it over. There we go. It didn't cover this staple too well, so maybe I'll do another piece and have it be more here on this side, like that. And I'll go ahead and double it up and fold it down. So now I have a nicely put together little book with 20 pages. Now, if you want more than 20 pages in your book, you could make another packet just the same. Then you would have 40 pages. It just so happens that I had already made one of these packets. So if I do this and put 2 together, I have 40. If I made 3 packets, I would have 60. But 1 packet's plenty if that's all you want. Since I already made a finished one, I'm gonna do 2. And all the holes kind of line up pretty well. I could just tie this together and I would have a book. But I think it's fun to have a cover. And I already made my front cover. This is my front cover. And here's how I made it. So I had a cereal box. I think cereal box cardboard works really well. So you just need cardboard that's nice but not too thick. It's big enough. And it should be a little bit bigger than your paper. A good size for the cardboard is 9 inches by 6 inches. 9 inches long and 6 inches this. I didn't even do quite 6 inches, but 9 by 6 would work just fine. And you want to make sure it's just a little bit slightly bigger than your folded up paper. Okay, and then you can just decorate it. So I had a piece of construction paper And you might not have colored construction paper at home. If you don't, it's okay. You can use anything to cover it. You could use white paper and you can do anything to decorate this. But here's how it works. Once you have this cut, take your piece of paper. If it's big enough, you can fold it in half and we're going to glue it on there. If this piece of paper is not big enough, no worries. Just make it fit and you can add more pieces of paper, and sometimes that looks even nicer to have a different type of paper put on top. So the way I'm going to do this, got my glue stick, and I'm going to glue around the edges on the inside here. You need a nice amount of glue. And fit your cardboard right in there. There we go. And now I'm going to glue the other side so that it can come over the top of my cardboard. Now, if my paper is not big enough to cover the whole cardboard, you could put one piece on the front, one piece on the back, and make any number of combinations. If all you have is white Xerox paper, you could still use that to cover the cardboard, and then we're going to decorate it. So go ahead and do that. What I like to do after I've glued something, if I want the glue to stay really well, sometimes I just put it underneath a big heavy book. And I put it under there and I just let it sit there for a while. Today though, I need this. So this was my front cover, and I happen to have this kind of like a piece of decorated paper, and I just cut it to fit. But notice that I did not just center it between here and here, because I had to leave room for punching out the holes. So the center is actually moved over a little bit to the right. Now, this is I just found this and I just cut this out and put it on. You could cut out of magazines or newspapers. You could make your own drawing and put it on the cover. There's any number of things that you could collage onto here. Sometimes if you have greeting cards or any kind of fun picture, just put it right on there. Okay, so when you're done with that, you want to be able to line up the holes. So the way I did this was I turned it over and I said, where do I want my book to be? Well, I want to make sure that my cover surrounds my book, and then I just went through and marked, and that's where I made my holes. Now that I have my back cover, which you could decorate the back cover too. I just decided I'd have it plain today. So again, I can go through the holes that I've already punched in, make my little marks so I can see where to do it. These things matched up. Again, take my hole punch and go ahead and make these holes in the cardboard. Okay, so now I've got my back cover done. That's fun. I didn't put any designs. Maybe later I'll decide to. And I had these 2 sets of 20 pages. They all have holes. They're all put together. So I'm just going to line up all the holes. Now, there's any number of ways you could tie this together. You could use string. You could use yarn. You could use something like a pipe cleaner, or you can use fancier ribbon. Anything that you have that can tie it together. I found this, I had this in my sewing basket, and I thought, hey, that matches really well. It almost looks like the outline of some of these flowers, and so I liked that. I think it matches, so I'm going through the cover, and I'm going through my first book, Oh, mine's kind of thick. I'll wet the end, push it through or pull it through, string it through, and then you want to go through the next one. You're going to need 3 pieces in order to do this for the 3 sets of holes. And through the back cover. Okay, let's pull them all together. You have to pull pretty tightly too. Oh, I've got too much here. I don't need that much. And let's make it about like that. And then let's go through, I probably should have measured this. Let's make this one about the same length. Let's see how long that is. About here. And another one about here. Okay, so now I've got 3 pieces that I can use for ties. The first piece went through all the top holes, and the second piece will go through all the middle holes. So again, I've got to do this. I'm not tying them yet. I'm just going to leave it sitting there until I've got them pulled through all the holes. Sometimes with string, if it doesn't want to go through and it gets all bunched up, you can kind of lick the end of it in your mouth. Not very COVID friendly, but it is for you. You're the one using this book, I hope. And that helps put all the fibers together on a string. And then it goes through all the holes. Last hole. So now I've got 2 sets all together. And now for the third holes. Got my last string. Put it through the cover. Put it through the first set. Put it through the second set. Now if you only have one set of 20 pages, it'll be easier. And it'll be plenty, because you can always make another book later on if you run out of pages. But I'm going to go ahead and make 40 pages for myself here. And then through the last hole on the cover, back cover, and then it's time to tie it all together, the moment of truth. Okay, there we go. We've got them all lined up. So let's go ahead and tie one of these. You want to pull it tight. So I'm doing that. And to make a knot, I just twisted that around. Put your finger in there. Make sure that the knot is tight and goes way down to the bottom. And you could make a little bow like tying your shoes if you wanted to. I didn't leave quite enough string for that. So I'm just going to make another knot just to make sure it's super strong. And now let me do the next one. And as I say, you can tie this and pull it nice and tight. Pull it nice and tight. And we've got that. Go around and through, make your knot. And I'll make a second knot on that one. You might just want to make a bow. If you left more string than I did, you could make a bow. I didn't leave quite enough for that. So I'll just make knots. There. Now, I think these are too long. So I'm going to trim them a little bit. I think I like those shorter. And there I have it. This is my little sketchbook that I could use. I can either write in it or draw in it or both. And when I open it up, I've got all my pages to use. And now comes the fun part. You'll need a pencil and eraser and your sketchbook. Here we go. Hi, okay, here we are at Memorial Park. And it's this little garden area. Might be some good things to draw in here. Let's see what I can find. That's a cute tree. I might draw that. And you walk around until you find something that just really catches your eye, and then you just find a place to sit and draw it. And let's see what we've got here. Oh, nasturtiums. These are nasturtiums. Did you know that nasturtiums are edible? Okay, I think that's what I want to draw. I like the shapes and the colors of the nasturtiums. I didn't bring colors with me today, but I'm just gonna work on looking very carefully at some of these nasturtiums. I'm going to notice the shapes of the petals, and I'm going to look at the spaces in between the petals. Maybe later I can make these colorful with some nice bright orange markers or something, or colored pencils. There's one of them. They've got little lines on them too, kind of like that. And look at the stem. Well, first we've got this big part here, and there's something that comes off that, and the very tiny stem, very skinny double line. Look at the leaves. The leaves are big and kind of curl up on the edges, but also kind of roundish. They have a circle right in the middle, and they have lines that radiate out of that middle circle. Now, when you go out on a walk, a sketching walk, you just walk until you find something that just kind of catches your eye, something that looks so interesting. And that's the thing that is meant for you to draw. But you want to be able to stay in that spot for a little while. The sun is coming right through the leaf that I'm drawing, and I can see this kind of a semicircle shape right within the leaf. Isn't that interesting? So I would go ahead, I'm going to work a little faster here because this is just my quick sketch as an example for you. And maybe I would draw some more leaves just to show how they grow together and the abundance of leaves and flowers here. And I would probably put some more of these flowers in here. Oh, and this one I can see the center of the flower and the pollen off of these stamens that come like this, and then all of these nice orange petals that come off of it. Sometimes people put nasturtium flowers into their salads. They have a bit of a peppery taste. And again, we have this really skinny area here. And so I would go ahead and make an interesting design on the page with the leaves and the flowers. And when you're all done with it, you might want to put what it is. These are nasturtiums. If you don't know the name, again, you can just say flowers and say where, whoops, I can say where they were. So I'm going to sit down a bit so I can write better. Nasturtiums in Memorial Park. And today's date. What is today's date? I think today is May, which is the 5th month. I think it's the 25th. And there we have it. Oh, wait, it is the 26th, I'm told. Okay, 26th. We'll change it. So I would have 1 page done. Now, you can be as slow or as fast as you want with these drawings. You can draw whatever you want to. You can draw your own hand if you want to, or your own foot. But it's fun to go out walking. It's one of the pleasures we have when we can't meet up with other people. So you could take your book out on a nature walk and keep track of the interesting things that you find by drawing them in your sketchbook. I hope that you all have a great summertime, and I will be thinking about you. If you want to ever send me any of your good drawings or sketches, if you're proud of them and you want to show them to me, I'd be happy to see them and to write back to you. Have a great summer, everybody. Bye-bye.